Hello, Lena. Welcome to the GES Digital Intervention Program. The subject is Social Studies, Lesson number 2. Our topic is our culture and our national identity. Lesson title is Stimulating National Allegiance Using National and Traditional Symbols. I am your facilitator, Emmanuel Ntuatimu. For our starter, identify the following symbols and their names. I'm sure you have been able to identify the first symbol. And what's the name? The name is Jenyame. What about the second symbol? The second symbol is Duanini Men. Finally, the third symbol is Nyamidua. I'm sure you were able to get all the three correct. Our learning outcomes. Learner will explain the meaning of allegiance. The second one, learner will examine the use of national and traditional symbols to stimulate and sustain allegiance. Allegiance is a feeling of loyalty towards higher entity. For example, the strong affection people attach to their football teams, political parties, schools or universities, ethnic or religious groups, and the nation. It is the strong bond between a person and an organization or an entity represented by a symbol. You have the symbol shown as a porcupine, and that one represents the Asante Kingdom. Slogan, they have never say die until the bones are rotten. I'm sure you've heard this slogan very often when they are playing football. And that is the symbol of Accra Hasselfolk. Thirdly, you have different types of colors. And that shows that various groups, various organizations, various associations are represented with some of these colors. We come to examples of the national symbols. First, we have the coat of arms. When you look at them, we find the Black Star, we have eagles, and then freedom and justice. The second one is the state symbol, which is usually used when the president is being sworn in every 4 years. Finally, we have the Ghana flag. I'm sure you'll be able to tell us what the colors representing the Ghana flag stands for. The red, represents the blood that our forefathers spilled in order to get the nation for us. The yellow represents the wealth of the nation, and especially the gold that we have in our land, which made the Europeans name our country the Gold Coast. And then the third, green. Green, we know, represents vegetation, the vast plant life we have in our nation. The last one you have there is the black star. The black star represents the African continent. So we hear of the black star of Africa. In other words, Nkrumah saw Ghana as the leading African country. Some examples of traditional symbols include the Susubiribi, which stands for Ochiman, the Chiriampong, which stands for the Akuapem state, Okuapeman, and then the third one, which stands for Asanteman or the Asante Kingdom. Going further, there are some other symbols which include those for football clubs. We have two for the nation here and the two for foreign teams. The first two, we have Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. For the European or the foreign teams, we have Manchester United and Liverpool. We also have symbols representing associations or groups. The first one is Rotary Club. The third, Ghana National Association of Teachers, or simply NAT. Using our national and traditional symbols to stimulate and sustain national allegiance. Things we can do to stimulate allegiance toward the nation using one national and one traditional symbol. One, handling the cedi with proper care and pride. Yes, the cedi is one of the important symbols of the nation. It is our national currency. Therefore, we must value the cedi. Very often you find some Ghanaians valuing other foreign currencies like the dollar, the pound sterling, and protect those currencies whilst they mishandle our cedi. Surely, we don't have to do that. We need to take good care of our cedi, especially the cedi notes. We also need to recite the national anthem and pledge. It's not just reciting them, but we must take note of the words that we recite and work with those words, and that will help us show how we value our country. We find out that if we take those words, we'll be patriotic and will not work against our nation. Wearing national paraphernalia such as caps, t-shirts, mufflers, miniature flags, etc. Yes, to show us that we are true Ghanaians, we need to value these paraphernalia, and when national functions are taking place, wear them proudly to those functions. For example, if we are having an independence anniversary and Ghanaians wear the Ghanaian colors in the form of caps, t-shirts, mufflers, etc., it looks so beautiful and it makes you respect your country, Ghana. Then we need to also use adinkra and other traditional symbols as designs in wax prints, jewelries, and as designs in painting our walls, our rooms, galleries, etc. Yes, these adinkra and other traditional symbols are designs that are Ghanaian in nature. In other words, these are our symbols, and therefore, when you travel outside Ghana to other countries and you see these symbols, you realize that those wearing those symbols are Ghanaians. To be sure, when you get closer to them, your suspicion will be confirmed by these people. Plenary. We have a plenary as one thing I have learned today is one thing I need to remember for the next lesson. Well, we have allegiance, treaty allegiance, which means that the strong feeling that we attach to our organizations or institutions that we belong to. We see, for example, we see ourselves as Ghanaians, and then we also looked at symbols of sustaining allegiance. These symbols we look at national symbols. We also looked at traditional symbols, and finally also looked at symbols representing associations such as football teams and social organizations. For our model questions, which you need to answer on your own for the next lesson, we have 1, explain the meaning of allegiance. 2, identify and explain 2 other ways that you use to stimulate national allegiance using the national and traditional symbols. I'm sure you'll be able to answer these questions and submit them for the next lesson. You are going to write exams, so you need an examination tip. For this lesson, the examination tip we have is when candidates is required to explain, highlight, outline, discuss, and many more, the candidate should state the points, explain them, and support them with examples. Yes, you are writing for marks, so it is not advisable to write your answers in phrases or simple sentences. You need to expand your points in nicely arranged paragraphs. Well, this brings us to the end of our lesson, and I hope you've benefited immensely from it. I hope to see you next time. I am your facilitator, Mr. Timo. Bye-bye.